Motorhead Garage is revved up and ready to go. This week, we show you how to protect your truck with a bed liner that looks great and goes on easily. We've got a simple way to eliminate flat spots when you store your car. And when it comes to fighting both rust and wear on your precious automobile, we've got the solutions. All that, plus a couple of field trips to see some amazing builds. Next on Motorhead Garage. Welcome to Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat. You know, we're taking a look at this bed liner that we just sprayed on. It's still wet, it looks great, and it was super simple to get this kind of result, and that's thanks to our friends at Rugged Restore. Now, this is their Barricade Spray-On bed liner, and Michelle, how does it work differently from other bed liners that are out there?
So this is a fantastic DIY at-home spray-on bed liner because it doesn't require any solvents, any activators, and the best part is it's water soluble, so you can just take it out to the garden hose and rinse it off when you're done.
We're going to see it in action coming up, but in the meantime, I want to hear more about your story because I find it fascinating. How did you come across this product?
Well, we've been in the detailing industry for a while, and as a hobby, my husband also builds hot rods, so I wanted to start joining him out in the shop and learning how to build myself, but I'm kind of more of a Jeep girl, wanted to learn how to build a Jeep and wanted to start entering all-female off-road rallies.
So you just jumped in the deep end right away.
I did. I just jumped in.
That's
and
cool.
We worked together, we built my Jeep, and in the process of building it, we also tested this bed liner product for it, and we absolutely loved it. We knew we had to get this on the market so everyone could experience it. So we worked for several years with the manufacturer, and we are now at a point that we are able to offer it to the general market.
What did you love about it so much when it was on your Jeep?
Well, first of all, it was so easy to apply. We didn't have to do anything professional. We could just do it ourselves, and it was really good. I mean, we actually had an incident where the Jeep caught on fire, and where that area was, just outside of the flames, like it was fine. It held up through the fire. I mean, we did have to do some touch-up where the actual flames were, but it was incredible, and we were like, we have to get this out to the public.
Well, you guys really have taken the market by storm, and I think, Kevin, that's probably because of how easy it is to apply. Now, what are the steps that we need to go through to put this on?
So just like with any other coating, paint, or anything else, the prep is the most important thing that you have to do, which luckily you guys have done all the hard work for me.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. That's the hardest part. So we want to scuff up the surface, whether it's the metal in a bed, or it can be applied to wood, and it can be applied to plastic, whatever, just as long as we have a mechanical bond. In this case, I would usually use a DA sander like you guys did. Just get everything scuffed up and prepared.
What if I don't have a dual action sander? What do you recommend?
You can use hand sanding, you can use block sanding, whatever you want. And also, this product in particular is brushable or rollable. So if you don't even have an air compressor, you can actually use that instead.
But you still have to do the same
Still
prep
have to
work.
do the same prep work.
Gotcha. In our case, we used 150 grit sandpaper.
Right, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect.
And then after you're done sanding, you got to do a little bit of cleanup. What do you do there?
Yeah, we want to degrease it with some sort of all-purpose cleaner. We offer one, but you can also use a simple green or something like that. Any all-purpose degreaser, all-purpose cleaner. And we want to degrease the surface to make sure it has that something good to stick to.
And we did the degreasing as well. Then you and Michelle sprang into action. And what was the first thing you two did?
Yeah, we just did a quick wipe down to make sure all the dust was off, do one final wipe down. And then the first thing you do is it's a little bit like a drywall gun where you want to adjust the pattern that you want. It can be super thick, it can be very thin. So we just adjusted the pattern and got that locked in. Then the nice thing with this is the gun just goes right in the bottle, screw on the bottle, and you're ready to spray.
It reminded me of like a weed sprayer you'd use in the yard. It couldn't be easier.
Like right, so once we get the pattern adjusted, then we're ready to go. So we just start spraying. You want to do all the vertical surfaces first. So in a truck bed, I did all the upper surfaces first, the vertical surfaces, and then we move on to the horizontal surfaces.
And I noticed when we were getting things ready, we kind of dropped a little bit on the floor, and the cleanup was amazingly simple.
Right. One of the great things about this product is it's 100% water soluble. Once it cures, obviously it's hard like plastic, but as long as it's wet, it's easy to clean up. You can use your garden hose, you can use any cleaner if it gets on the floor or surfaces.
But once the actual spraying happens, only about 10 minutes, which was great. How many coats do you recommend putting on?
Typically, we can do most things in one coat. If you adjust your air quality properly, you get the pattern done properly, then you can do one coat. You can add a second coat, even a third coat. It tends to be a little bit more of a sheen on it than the matte finish, but you can do as many coats as you want. One is sufficient for most surfaces.
We're talking most surfaces, metal, can we use it on plastics? What kind of materials will we here?
Pretty much anything you can scuff up. You know, obviously, if it's a flexible material, you don't want to put it on a balloon. No, plastic, wood, you can use it. A lot of people will use them for their home-built trailers. You can use it in beds, obviously. Metal is the best. It's used a lot for corrosion resistance, both in the commercial standpoint and the industrial standpoint. It was actually used first on the A1 Hummer, the original original Hummer design.
Oh, wow.
They used it on the interiors of those vehicles. And a lot of companies, it's great for rust prevention. So once it's coated, so you can use it for frames, suspension components, and even your truck bed and that kind of normal things. But you can use it basically any surface that you can scuff up and have it stick to, it's good to go.
And if you're doing a coat and you get stopped in the middle of it, can I come back to it, or do you recommend finishing one coat?
We would typically recommend you finish the whole thing unless you're doing 2 coats. If you're just doing a single coat, you want to try to do it all at one time. You would want to try to minimize the overlap of a single coat because it tends to kind of sheen up on itself. But most cases, you're going to be able to come back and finish it later. But, you know, just like with painting, if you're going to do a whole panel at a time, if you're going to paint something, you'd want to kind of do the same process.
Now, I notice you and Michelle are wearing red, white, and blue today, so that indicates to me that this product must be made where?
Right here in the United States. As a small U.S. company, we want to try to bring as many American-made products as we can to the market, and Barricade's one of those great products.
The procedure was completely flawless for us, but what if I have an issue or I don't like the way this has gone on for some reason?
Oh, we do a money-back guarantee. Typically, if you do the prep right, you get it degreased, you're not going to have any problems. That's why we're not afraid to do that. But it usually goes on very easily. And the nice thing about the product also is if you have a problem later on, a little part of the surface comes up, you really can just touch it up right away. You can use a brush or a roller or something like that, do a really quick touch up, and it's good to go.
Well, it's a great product, and you guys have a whole bunch of other great stuff too. You can check it out at ruggedrestore.com/MotorheadGarage to see their entire line and what it can do for you. We will be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat right after this.